Arrogant Atheist with you again, and we're going to talk about how to have morality without God. And of course, we have to have morality without God because there is no God. And morality, of course, has arisen quite naturally from our own evolutionary process. As our brains have matured and evolved into higher functioning organs, we've created the ability to empathize. As you can clearly see from recent history, the evolution has manifested itself in a society that is less likely to torture and murder its citizens for no real reason. And I think as we move along through time, there's still lots of stupid wars, but we have less world wars, we have less atrocious, ridiculous, murderous, and genocidal global conflicts among advanced societies, technologically industrialized nations. There we go, thank you. I think we can see that, the feudal system in Europe just a couple of hundred years ago was one where, landowners didn't care about the people that they were using as cannon fodder, basically, to take over whatever they could in the world right around them. And that kind of stuff happens less and less in advanced societies as we go forward, and we understand that our own inner compass kind of tells us that these things aren't right, and we don't need a higher being to punish us with eternal torture in order to say, geez, maybe I shouldn't stick this knife in a guy's eye today because I don't like what he said to me, or whatever. So morality clearly has arisen without God. We had some form of morality before God was even invented, I'm quite sure, even as cave people. So when God did get invented, it was probably, at least in part, a way to for the more moral people to shake a stick and punish the immoral people and say, look, you can't keep doing that to that 8-year-old because God's going to send you to a burning place forever. So it's pretty clear the way it happened. Morality is pretty obvious without God in an evolved people, and if you think you need to have God to be moral, then you're dumb, man. So get over yourself. Now, once you've made up a God to impose a moral law on the people, we have to examine to ourselves 4,000 years later, is that God even moral? And quite clearly, if you read the Bible, like most atheists have, the Judeo-Christian God is not moral. He's murdered like a couple of million people. If you don't believe me, check out the Holy Shit video series on YouTube, and the count is there. God is the biggest murderer in the history of literature, and it's not even close. So many more than the devil that it would stun you to know. But any of us who've actually read the Bible knows that there's just not a shred of morality in it. The God of the Bible condoned slavery, he condoned murder, he condoned genocide, he condoned human trafficking, he condoned war and revenge plagues. Any kind of, he shagged earth women, for Christ's sake. He went down and shagged someone's wife. And I guess we get we don't talk about that because the fruit of that labor was the Savior of the universe. So people kind of gloss over the fact that God saw a hottie and went down and bagged her. And why wouldn't you if you're a God? Jesus. Anyway, there's no morality in the God of the Bible. He's just a jerk. He does what he wants to get his way. And he makes creatures to torture and kill them on purpose, apparently. So God's not moral. If he created all these people and he knew what was going to happen to them, then he necessarily created them knowing that he would have to punish some of them, kill some of them, neglect some of them, watch them burn forever in a fire, drown them all at once, except for 7 incestuous weirdos, or 8, I guess, and all the animals, I guess around that Fertile Crescent kind of area where it was all supposed to happen. But other than that, I can't really find much in the Bible to call God himself moral. If you create, there's nothing to compare to it really, but if you're a kitten breeder, say, and you don't like the kittens that you put into process, the steps that it takes to make kittens by your breeding tactics, and then you took some of those kittens and threw them in the river because you didn't like the color, or you didn't like the way they acted, you don't really have the right to take a life. I think most modern thinkers are kind of coming along to that point of view. It's that's human morality in its own state. You don't just kill things for no real reason. And for God to create people and then kill them on purpose, it either means he didn't foresee the future and he created something that he couldn't control and had to make a statement a couple of times, or he's just an asshole. So it's not okay to kill or torture or punish things that you created just because you created them, any more than it is okay for parents to beat their children and abuse them. You get put in jail for that, but God's cool with it, right? Yeah, just let God give your kids cancer and let them send them to a church where the priest is going to rape them for the rest of their lives. Yeah, that's good stuff. Good morality there, God.